Brittany Matthew has always been an avid reader. A self-proclaimed bookworm, Brittany reads as many books as she can get her hands on. From a young age, Brittany seemed to enjoy the idea of books more than anything else.
From what I remember, Brittany's always loved the idea of books. She loved to touch books, feel books, be around books. She's loved writing stories, and in the fantasy world, they're always her favorites.
From the age of 7 onward, Brittany's grandmother took her to piano lessons every Saturday until her final year in high school. Part of this tradition was a weekly visit to the mall afterwards, which turned out to be quite influential for Brittany.
We went into Kohl's because I love books. And so, of course, I'd drag her into Kohl's. And sometimes I'd forget about her. And then all of a sudden it would hit me, wow, where's that kid? And then I'd start looking for her, and there she'd be in the children's section, sprawled out on the floor where nobody could get by, reading the books.
Despite the fact that Brittany loved books, it wasn't until grade 6 that she read her first chapter book.
In the early years, I remember Brittany wanting to read more than just picture books. She wanted to read just books with just the writing chapters in it, and that's it, chapter book, I guess you would call it. And so she finally found one. She must have been in grade 6. She was still at St. Francis at the time. And so she found one, and she was getting close to the end, but she couldn't finish it all. It was time for bed. I said, that's it, put the book away, it's time for bed, finish it tomorrow. No, Mom, I just want to read it, I just want to read it. I'm almost done, I'm almost done. I said, dear, there's tomorrow, go to bed, you need your sleep. Shut off the light, assuming she went to sleep. Found out years later, no, she had a flashlight. She hid the flashlight and hid under the blankets and finished the book until like 2 in the morning. Honestly, I really think Brittany gets her passion from reading from her grandmother. She gets a nose in the book and you can't talk to her.
I have read almost every book in our little library, plus all the books I've ever bought. And reading to me is a wonderful thing, more than anything else, more than any other thing we do to enhance our minds, because it allows us free range of our imagination. 2 people can read the same thing and neither will see the benefit of it. Or see, not the benefit, but you won't see this, get the same thing out of it. I will interpret it one way and you will interpret it another way. And then I read approximately now, in a two-week period, I would say at least 6 books in a 2-week period. Besides everything else I do. I always find time to read.
One afternoon, Brittany was downstairs where I had a lot of my old books and things that I had from my growing up period. And I had, I would say, commandeered a copy of The Hobbit. It was an illustrated copy that my mom had. And it was a fairly large book as far as the text is concerned and things. Full of wonderful illustrations. She ended up, just happened to come across it, and it was like, what have you done? I have never seen this before. She was just full of energy and life. And when she saw that book and she started to read it, she says, I can't believe you held this back from me. And it was like, it was my fault, right? But really, it was like the whole light went on in her. And she just shone when she got her hands on that book. She read the thing cover to cover in a very short period of time and just couldn't get enough of it and just kept talking about it. And so I suggested, I said, well, if you like that, the next sequence to that is the Lord of the Rings series, which is like quite a bit more adult read, but it is a very good read.
Since that occasion when Brittany read The Hobbit and then shortly after the Lord of the Rings series, She has never been without a novel on the go. After graduating university, Brittany moved to South Korea to teach. There she passed her love of reading on to her students as she taught them English. Her second year there, her mother, grandmother, and aunt had the opportunity to visit Brittany in Korea and see her teach.
Not just reading words. Nothing is more boring than somebody that just reads words, because they stay words, not connected experience. And when she was there with all her little people, they were all just trying to answer the question. She had the full attention, and that to me was very impressive.
After teaching for 2.5 years in Korea, Brittany has now returned to Canada to learn to become a teacher. She hopes to inspire her students to read in the way that her grandmother still inspires her.
I think why she began reading was the most influential thing, I would say, was because we went to Coles and it was presented to her, and she could or she couldn't. But she soon found out all the wonderful things that are in between those two covers, and she got hooked.